I'm sorry.
What is the U.S. reaction to reports that the Israel Minister of Defense on Wednesday approved the creation of a 10-acre settlement in the West Bank?
We are deeply concerned about the Minister of Defense's decision to expand the existing settlement boundary of the Gush Etzion Regional Council to include a former church compound, which effectively creates a new settlement on 10 acres in the West Bank. It's important to note that some 70% of the West Bank's Area C has already been unilaterally designated as Israeli state land, or within the boundaries of these regional settlement councils. The new decision only expands this significant majority of the West Bank that has already been claimed for exclusive Israeli use. Along with the regular retroactive legalization of unauthorized outposts and construction of infrastructure in remote settlements, actions such as this decision clearly undermine the possibility of a two-state solution.
All right, folks, that was James Kirby from the White House. And, they're still upset that we're building in Gush Etzion. My buddy who lives on the other side of Gush Etzion, you know him, Josh Hasten, is with me today. I've got him on Skype here. Hey, Josh, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I still miss you, my friend.
I miss you. I had Ruthie on last week, and we were talking about those were the days. It was really fun hanging out all the time. We were like the Avengers. Now we're off doing our own stuff, but we're still going to come down to fight injustice in the world when the need arises. How are you doing? What's going on over on your side of Gush Etzion? We've explained this every time you come on. Gush Etzion, which is like a state, which is actually land that the Jewish people owned before 1948, that we were viciously kicked out of, driven out by the Jordanians, dispossessed of in 1948, came back home in 1967, and now we're living the American dream in the West Bank, and much to the chagrin of much of the world. Most of the hot spot here is over in your area, Josh. What's it like over there? There was an attempted stabbing before Shabbat last week. What's going on? It's like a war zone?
No, actually, I mean, on a day-to-day basis, it's pretty normal. Everything is just life as usual. Unfortunately, the Gush Etzion juncture has been probably the most, I guess, attacked area in the entire country. I mean, weekly stabbings, as you mentioned. Last week, we had a situation where you had 3 terrorists trying to attack a soldier there, and that didn't work out too well for him, thank God. The soldier
didn't even get close to the soldier. They're basically pulling out knives, screaming Allahu Akbar, which is now we're translating as Aramaic for "please shoot me immediately."
Right. Yeah, but thank God in this case the soldier was able to kill all 3 terrorists. It's a day-to-day thing. You don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know if it's every other day they're gonna try it, or every 3 days, whatever it is. I mean, it's happening all the time. I saw they're playing this clip on Facebook now. Somebody brought up a classic scene in the movie Raiders of the Lost Ark with Indiana Jones. You have the machete wielding whatever he is, Arabist, if you will. Brings out his knife. Everybody backs away. His big machete, and he's going to attack Indiana Jones.
And he makes a whole show of it, swinging it around his head.
And he calmly takes out his gun and shoots a terrorist. I mean, that's.
Do you know the story? Actually, do you know the story behind that scene?
No, I don't.
In the original Steven Spielberg movie, Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford was supposed to fight him. But they were filming it in Egypt, and Harrison Ford had terrible diarrhea, was super sick, and so they rewrote the screen, and now it's a classic scene. Indiana Jones just looks slightly annoyed, pulls out his gun, and shoots the guy.
I think that's
we're
what
living
it's like.
it. We are Indiana Jones here in.
For sure, we are, and they're going to keep trying. This isn't going away anytime soon. You get through a whole day. Like yesterday was Sunday. You don't hear about that much terror, I guess, and you're happy that you got through that day with limited terror, and hopefully that'll continue. But the motivation on the other side to murder as many Jews is still there, whether you're in Gush Etzion or downtown Tel Aviv. It's really all the same, and that's what people have to understand. It's happening everywhere. It can happen to you anywhere, unfortunately. But that being said, it's still life is usual. People going to work, people going to school. I was at the movies the other night. I mean, Cinema City, Jerusalem, it's packed.
What'd you see?
Nothing good. What's it called? Daddy come home, Daddy home, whatever, with the silly movie Will Ferrell. But the point is that people are
Point is,
calling
you're
about
living life. You're
the
going to see silly movies.
silly
Like, it's one thing
movies. Get a little
to
laugh.
risk your life for The Force Awakens, but you're going to see ridiculous movies, and that says something about your gumption, man.
Yeah, listen, the place was packed. I mean, you would not know that there's a terror war going on when every theater Saturday night is just, one after another, screening after screening are all packed or sold out or whatnot. You would not know it. And I just came from Aroma, the cafeteria, coffee shop, and the place is packed this morning. The line's out the door, people going about their business. So you have that on one hand, and then you have these jihadists on the other hand trying to ruin things here. But it's not going to work. And they know that, but they're just trying to unfortunately, trying to kill as many of us, murder as many of us as possible along the way.
What steps are you personally taking? Like, you go to the movies. Is it not in your mind at all? Are you not thinking about it? Are you not scared?
No, I'm definitely not scared. I mean, people are definitely more vigilant these days, myself included. I have my gun on me at all times, and outside a little bit, I would say in the outdoors, you try to notice who's walking alongside you on the sidewalk or who's coming towards you. Other than that, I would say, there's not much else you can do. Maybe driving in certain areas, maybe one hand a little bit closer to the gun, or make sure that my sweatshirt is not covering the gun. Just small things like that, but not much more than that, I would say, Muttle.
I'm looking at people's hands. That's when I'm walking around the streets of Jerusalem. That's one of the good pieces of advice I got from Israeli Special Forces soldier Rami Diamond, who's one of the Maccabebes in the women's only unit there, and she had a very good piece of advice. So look at people's hands, and that's one. But it's these little things. But
Yeah.
then you forget, and you're right. Life goes back to normal. I guess until the second it doesn't. Where do you think? I mean, do you think this is going to continue like this? How long do you think we're going to be going like this? I mean, it's been 3 months now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see an end in sight, and the security forces are saying they don't see an end in sight. I mean, I'm just praying that it's not like a situation where I remember in 2002, when the Park Hotel suicide bombing happened and 30 people were killed. I hope we're not waiting for a case. Well, if they kill X amount of Jews, then we're going to take serious action and go into the towns and root out. I mean, people say this is up until now it's been lone wolf terror. But you have Hamas openly saying that they want to destroy us and they're going to carry out these organized attacks. I never believe in this lone wolf stuff, because whether you have people actually ordering the attacks, the Palestinian Authority, etc., I mean, they're clearly supporting it. They're clearly continuing in their incitement on a daily basis. I mean, the guy in Tel Aviv, the terrorist who thank God they caught him and killed him, who carried out the attack there in Dizengoff, he's being hailed as a martyr throughout the Palestinian Authority. So, again, Muttle, it's been 100+ years this has been going on. It's not going away. And this latest wave, I hope the government does what they can to squash it once and for all. But that being said, I'm just praying that they're not waiting for a mega attack before taking action.
Yeah, it tends to do that, but it's I don't think this is. I mean, the difference between this and the difference between the last Intifada, and this is partly the part that makes me feel better, but it also scares me, is the last Intifada was coordinated attacks with weaponry. Whether it be C4 explosive and ball bearings strapped to a person. This seems like they're just grabbing knives.
Yeah,
and they're not even. Most of the time, not even stabbing anybody anymore. We're vigilant enough. We're expecting it enough. The problem would be is if there was an escalation, if the Palestinian Authority did decide to jump in and allow them to use the arms that we know they have. If Hamas ordered it to, then we have, on one hand, we have an enemy that we could fight. But on the other hand, we'll start seeing, God forbid, some of these mass casualty events that you're talking about.
And they're talking about it openly. They're talking about the Palestinian Authority saying they're deliberating whether or not, certain elements in Fatah, they're saying, well, maybe we should escalate it more, officially endorse it, come out and, so I don't know how they're doing
Maybe
this
we
out
should
in
just
the
go get a
open.
falafel and invent stuff. Maybe we should just try and make the world a better place. Maybe we should. What is it with these people that they want to like? Maybe we should take this to the point where we want to destroy the world.
Yeah, huh? Perhaps. I mean, they don't believe in a world that doesn't subscribe to their beliefs, and that's really what it's ultimately about. And Israel, this bastion of hope and democracy here in the Middle East, is ruining their plans. So they'll keep at it. They haven't stopped. Again, as I said, in 100 years, nothing's going to change. We'll have peaks and valleys and waves. As long as we don't show them who, they respect power. That's really what it is in the Middle East here. That's the way it works. If you don't express power, you don't show them who's boss, then they'll keep at it. And it's as simple as that. I mean, that they respect power. That is a value they hold dear. And if they keep carrying out these attacks, and if we're not strong in our response, and we're not strong in preventing these attacks even to start with, show them that we're here to stay, make it crystal clear, then these attacks will continue in one way or another. And if it's not this wave, it'll be the next wave. I've been here now 14 years, and you can't even talk about how many different operations and wars, if you will. Second Lebanon War, 3 Gaza operations, a second Intifada, partridge in a pear tree, everything that I've seen, and now we have the latest stabbing war. So, it happens, and it keeps happening over and over again. We have to be strong. We have to
And we
show
deal
them
with
who's
it.
boss. Yeah.
All right, Josh, are you starting your thing with Ari and Jeremy at their place, or are we going to start seeing a Josh Hasten show coming up soon?
I hope so. Yeah, I'm just waiting for that green light. I think it's going to be another month or so, from what I understand. But hopefully, I'll get back on the radio. I like the radio. That's my bread and butter. I love the radio. I love doing radio. I have a face for radio, as they say. So I enjoy.
Well, this is
that.
hopefully going out on video. I've been trying to
Right.
get the video thing going as well to get my YouTube channel up and running. So we'll see.
up,
This is
man.
the first shot at it, and you got a good face for it, man. You got a good face for
I
it.
appreciate it
All right, brother. So anytime you want to do radio, I'm
Okay.
here. I'm doing this every day. All right.
so much.
All right, Josh Hasten, ladies and gentlemen, the incredible commentator. He's just an Israel warrior. He's out there. He's and he's fighting in the articles that he's writing. He's fighting when he's on the radio. He's fighting when he's going to go see a silly Will Ferrell movie. This guy is living a life where he's kicking a dent in the world. I like having him on the show. You've been listening to the Mottle Wolfe Show. We'll be back right after this.